Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I'm actually filming this on Friday. It's the day after Halloween. I didn't get to dress up yesterday, so I thought I'd get a little dressed up today, hence the red lipstick. So, what I want to talk about today is the new stats page. I'm talking about the new individual story stats page. In case you didn't know, the individual story stats page is like this. You go to your stats page, click on a story, and click View Details. Here on View Details, you're going to be taken to a brand new stats page that tells you all of the individual numbers for that story. There are a lot of different components on this brand new stats page, so I want to take a minute and talk about each one individually. So I'm going to talk about the lifetime summary first, then I'll talk about the story impact, and then I'll talk about the views by traffic source. Let's begin. Let's talk about part one. This is going to be the lifetime stats, the headline numbers that matter about your story. So first thing you're going to see, overall views. Worth keeping an eye on it and making sure that it's going in the right direction, which should be up because you can't get negative views. Secondly, you're going to see the overall earnings. If you're money motivated like me, this is the number you care about. Finally, you see the average read time. Now, if you like to be sad about how much effort you put into a story versus how much effort people put into reading for it, this is the stat for you. This is going to tell you that your 21-minute read time story has an average reading time of 42 seconds. That absolutely killed me when I saw that. I really could have done without knowing that. But these three stats are going to be important because they're going to be your rules of thumb. Is my content engaging? This is going to tell you. If you're interested in reading it and clicking on it, this is where you're going to see. Is it a financially motivational story? Here's where you find out. In the next graphs that we're about to get into, you're going to get a lot more nuance into these bigger numbers, but these are the initial ones that you need to watch out for and that are going to be your guiding wind. All right, let's get on to part two. Story impact. So, story's impact is where you're going to see in a much more granular level how much people are reading it, and this is the exciting part, how much money that directly correlates to. And I like this graph even though I don't really see a use for it yet, but you also get to see the overall member reading time. So if you're like me, it's nice to know that you're having an impact on people's lives. So top graph is going to be views, your second graph is going to be earnings, and the third one is going to be member read time. Let's talk a bit more about that top one, the views. So if you take your mouse and just mouse over the tab, those graphs, and you'll see, you get a summary chart of everything that's happening. So you can see, okay, on October 13th, it was viewed a total of 28 times. One of those was internal, 27 of those were external. Members spent 14 seconds that day reading my story, and that gave me 13 cents. So it's interesting to note that, and you can mouse over by day and see how that changes. These three graphs are meant to be taken together. Each one kind of informs the other, and it's all a mishmash of value for you, value for the reader, who's reading your story, what they're getting out of it, and what you're getting out of them getting stuff out of your story. So it's a big cycle. Okay, finally, last but not least is the traffic source section. So if you look at your tab, you can see two different kind of blocks. So the first is going to be views by traffic source. This tells you how people have come to see your story. And if your story has over like 800 or over 1,000 views, you'll have reader interest. So you can see what topics your readers are interested in who read that story. So I'm looking at one of mine right now, and I can see that it has a total of 2,800 views, which is quite a lot for me. Google, Facebook, Quora. Before, those didn't matter so much, but now there is a direct financial motivator for you to find out which of your stories is making it out onto the World Wide Web and getting more stories like that. Medium has changed their pay model to include read time. It has also changed their payment model to include retroactively money from people who haven't yet signed up. So the way this works is this. If any of those people they're not a Medium member, but they read my story and they're like, I like this. I would like to read more on Medium, but oh no, I've hit my cap of free stories. You know what, I'm gonna become a paying member. The next month, when their money goes in, I'm gonna get a portion of that money because in the grand scheme of things, my story was one of the few that contributed to them deciding to become a Medium member. So you're literally directly rewarded for getting your stories out there and convincing people to come to Medium. I think it's really clever on Medium's part. The way you can use this is look at the stories that are getting a lot of views and look at them where those views are coming from. If a lot of your views are internal, that's great. It means that lots of Medium members are reading your story and loving it. Fantastic. If a lot of them are external, That is now also great because it means that people are going to be reading your story and they're going to be thinking, this is great content, I want more of this kind of content, signing up for Medium and winging a little paycheck from their Medium monthly membership over to you. What's not to like? So really figure out which of your stories stands out, which ones are getting ranked on Google, which ones are being shared on Facebook, which one of those stories is really resonating outside of Medium, and how can you write more of them? And this is how you're going to be able to do it. Key takeaways. Big breakdown. There are a lot more numbers on that page than there used to be. If you're someone like me who's nerdy but also kind of obsessive about numbers, this can be a little dangerous. Try to keep a handle on your love for stats. Secondly, you can directly correlate earnings to member reading time. So go to any story, take your mouse, and hover over where you see the biggest spike in medium member reading time. You can see exactly how much money that correlates to. So third, traffic sources were always important, but now they're even more important because this is going to be how you figure out which ones of your stories are going viral outside of Medium and how you make more of them so you can start getting that sweet, sweet paycheck from non-Medium members becoming Medium members through you. And finally, I heard it through the grapevine that there might be an update coming to the main stats page. Who knows, maybe by the time you're watching this, this will have already happened. So I'm really excited to see what that's gonna look like. I hope we can use this to actually learn how to write better, because at the end of the day, that's what we all wanna do, right? Use our stats to figure out how we can write better stories. I would love to hear what you're thinking. If you've got any questions, if any of what I said didn't make any sense, let me know in the comments. I love getting comments and I love replying to them. So without further ado, have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy November and enjoy the start of the holiday season, and say goodbye to the spooky season. We all enjoyed it. All right, talk to you all soon. Bye.